Welcome back to Everything All the Time. I'm Pat O'Brien. Tony Boldy is sitting in for Court McCowan, who's on a yacht somewhere in Mallorca. The beautiful blue water. By the way, the Olympics coming up. The water is hardly blue. It's the color of poop. And by the way, and it is poop. It's awful. We'll get to that in a minute. Joining us now is my old dear friend from a million years. Well, not a million. Lou Gossett Jr.
100,000.
100,000. Hello, Lou. How are you?
All right, Pat. How you guys doing?
I'm good. Lou's a good friend of Tony Boldy's as well. 1982, is that when Officer and a Gentleman was out?
Yeah, that's when lightning struck, yeah.
Man. You know, I told you, I watched it not long ago. It still holds up.
It
Just
sure does.
The values of it hold up, you know?
Yeah, that's right. The values, that's why the Marines are so superior. They're so wonderful.
I'm sorry to hear that your presidential...
They should get the Oscars.
Well, you got the Oscar. I'm sorry to hear that your candidate, Donald Trump, is flailing.
My candidate, I'll give you a knuckle sandwich.
Well, I think the
Get
American...
down, give me 50.
I think I will. I think the American people are giving him the knuckle sandwich. What do you make of this collapse?
I don't know. I got crazy brain, One thing is, the last time I remember him before he ran for a presidential election, I see this photograph of Donald Trump, his wife, and the Clintons, arm in arm.
Right.
So my mind says, is he doing this so that Hillary is guaranteed to be in? Or did it get good to him and his ego took over?
Right. I was there when that picture was taken. I was at his wedding.
Yeah.
And,
so why they were really close.
They were close. And but that wedding, he invited about everybody he could get to go to that wedding.
Yeah.
That's how I got there.
Yeah.
And I got escorted out for drinking too much. But, I said, Billy Joel and I said, what's a wedding for if you can't ruin it,
Yeah.
Right? Those are the old days. Thank God I've got 8 years now. So, Tony, you want to talk to your friend? Go ahead.
Sure. I'm just proud of you for 8 years. I got 5 on Tuesday.
I got 12.
Well, look at that.
There we are. So
Here we still are.
Well, that's the good news. And the world record's 24 hours.
Just tell me about it.
24 hours. So you're busy, right, Lou?
Yeah, I am. Thank God. It's a nice time in life. I wound up inheriting the directing gig for the great Ernie Banks.
Let's play two.
Scouting tomorrow morning.
One of the great Chicago Cubs, and
That's right.
I knew Ernie very well. And
me too.
By the way, always in a good mood. I mean, how does that happen? He was always in a good mood.
Trying to figure out how to put him on film. His love affair, from the time he was born, his father said, "You have that one star in this guy, and you were put here to play baseball. That is your wife, that's your mother, and your father." And he never broke that relationship.
Right, and he energized the game with his
He energized
enthusiasm.
everybody around him.
Right, it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Sports is my strong suit.
Yeah, and that's why we should talk more about that. Yeah.
Tony knows nothing about sports.
It's not my strong suit.
How do you get by?
I did karate and martial arts and military stuff.
That's
and
not
I
sports.
just slipped
me
through
both.
the cracks. There you go.
That's not sports. So, what else are you doing? Who are you going to get to play Ernie?
His name is Cedric Sanders. I did a movie with him called The Least Among You. And he's grown immensely. I'm sending a trainer to him, like they sent a trainer to me, so that I can photograph him playing shortstop.
Can he hit?
He can hit. By the time he finishes with my trainer, he'll be able to almost qualify.
What was Ernie Banks?
And the picture of Cedric Sanders and Ernie Banks, they look like the same family.
I used to see Ernie all the time on airplanes. I don't know why, but before they traveled on charters. And we'd sit and talk baseball, and man, just a...
So you got social media kind of popping off here. A couple questions for Lou Gossett, if you want to ask those.
Are you receiving a Lifetime Achievement Award?
Yeah, from a couple of places. Thank God. One is down in Texas at the Arena Theater. I'm getting one. The one you're talking about is a really strong one.
Which one is that?
The Muhammad Ali Museum.
Down in Louisville?
In Louisville, yeah.
He and I were good friends. Long time.
Ironically, pleasantly so, it's under the subject of education.
Well, that's the way he wanted it. I mean, we used to, even his dying words to me, I spoke to him not long before he died. He could actually speak, as you know, every now and then. And I said to him, I said, Champ, we still look good, don't we? After all these years? And he said, what do you mean, we?
Nothing was wrong with the brain.
No, he's in there.
Mm-hmm.
He's in there, but he. One time, he and I were in a mall for some reason, walking around. And we gathered a big group of kids, and he goes, "What should I do?" And I said, "Doug, go through some of your magic." So he pulls out a deck of cards, and he tells this kid, "Pick a card out." Kid picks a card. He said, "Show it to all your buddies." He turns his back, turns around. He said, "Now put the card back on the deck." Did took the deck of cards and threw them up in the air about 20 feet, and they went all over the place in the mall. I said, "You know what you're doing here, champ?" And he goes, "Yeah." So. He's one lie. It was a 10 of hearts, and it lies straight up. And Ali goes, "Young lady, is that your card?" And she says, "No." And he said, "Well, then you don't know card tricks." Which was better than having the trick.
Yeah.
That's funny. Back in the day, he lived on Fremont Place, and I lived on in Hancock Park on Wilshire and Highland. Longwood was it called. And we used to run from my house to his every day. And my son was about 3 or 4 years old. And he'd say, "Where's that kid?" And he'd go and tickle him. I reminded my son, "You know who that was?" He said, "No." I said, "It was Muhammad Ali."
Oh.
So he went bananas. That's who was doing that, just to play with him.
Well, and Lonnie, his wife, was a saint, too. I mean, she basically kept him alive all these years.
That's true. Wonderful woman.
And she's great.
And the people at his funeral were people who hate one another, but they all agree to take the day off to honor him.
Well, let's take
what a statement.
Let's talk about that for a moment, because everybody hated him for a while. Not everybody.
Yeah,
everybody. When he changed his name,
he was an ill-fitting glove, and when you grow, you're going to be an ill-fitting glove, especially if you have some kind of thing that's counterproductive, that's counter than what people have been thinking for years, and that's our growth. Sometimes it's a breech birth, but it's a growth. He forced us to grow and look at the truth.
Absolutely.
So it's always going to be an ill-fitting glove for a minute.
Right.
But I pray on a daily basis that we all come to the same basis, that we belong to one another.
Yeah.
Right. And it takes a lot of courage.
We
to
can't
do that.
can't get along without one another.
Absolutely.
Nobody's better, nobody's worse.
So we have some social media coming in, Lou. Lee Hughes asked, what she asked, when are you going to be live in the studio? And we talked about bringing you back to the show.
Right.
Maybe here on
Live
Pat
now.
O'Brien's show. Yeah, but in the studio, in person. And then
Uh-huh.
Eric Olson is having a good time watching the show. We also have Lee talking about Pat, saying, "Pat, you look amazing as always. Seen
Of
your
course.
videos on here. Proud of you. Love your show." So getting your fans calling in here.
Lou, when am I going to see you again?
I probably want to get back, maybe before I roll my sleeves up to direct this Ernie Banks movie. I will have gotten the award by then, and maybe around late August, early September, I'll be back.
All right, well, some Wednesday night. You know, Lou
Yeah.
Lou and I have been friends for years, and he's been
Yeah.
a loyal friend. And you can have friends, but when they're loyal friends, it's another level of friendship.
Right.
That's thick and thin.
And-
That's when you get tested.
That's called blood.
And we're getting tested with our country. How loyal are we with this country?
Right.
Are we one nation under God, indivisible, or are we not? We're going to go for fear or hate, or what? We have choices now. It's all above board. It's the best time. It's very healthy for our country
Right.
to have these choices.
So, Lou, you're involved with an organization called Peace Link Live with Jay Ponte and Shadow Stevens, and I know we have an
Yeah.
event coming up here soon with the United Nations. So,
Uh-huh.
you looking forward to that? It's the one day
Yeah,
that we.
if I'm around, I'm part of them. Whether I'm there or not, I'm always part of that movement,
Absolutely.
especially with Shadow and Jay Ponte.
Jay Ponte, yeah.
Lou, you're like a beautiful butterfly. You're hard to catch, but beautiful to watch.
Absolutely.
So one sting like a butterfly and float like a bee.
I know.
It was the other way around.
It's float like a butterfly. No, it's float like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
That's what I thought.
Manzini. Lou, thanks for joining us today. And
It's a pleasure.
I'm glad you and Tony are friends. I'm glad we're friends. I love you madly. And
Hang in, and we got to hook up for the season, okay?
Okay, stay well, my
Let's go
friend.
see a couple of games together.
Yep.
Good man.
Especially the football. They're back in L.A., man.
Well, I don't know if I want to go.
We got a home team to root for.
We'll figure it out.
You got it, man.
Okay.
Later.
Very good.
Good seeing you, Lou.
Gossett
Bye-bye.
Jr.,
Bye-bye.
a real star in Hollywood. And was there a better performance than
I
Officer
don't
and a
think so.
Gentleman?
I don't think so.
Mayo. I love that.
Good man.
Back in a minute.